right, so sound check. Really digging the look of this whole thing. Let me know what you guys think. Are y'all feeling this sort of setup right here for my videos? I don't know if I'll get to do this every time because this is a very populated area. It's essentially my kitchen. What's good, everybody? My name is James Jackson. If you're new here, I do tips, tricks, news, and reviews. And today I'm going to be talking about why I am now officially switching my whole set over to Zhiyun in terms of my lighting setup for small one-man band setups and as well as my YouTube content creation. I'm going to be talking specifically about the Molus this guy right here, which is on my desk, which is the Molus B200, which is like the mini shrunk down version of the B500, which I've already done a review about that one. So if you want to learn more about the specs and sort of performance, I would say go check out the Molus B500 review, because I'm not going to really go into specs about this guy right here. Instead, I'm going to be talking about the reasons why I am becoming more and more of a fan of Zhiyun and their light setups in terms of just options, especially if you're someone that's looking for really good quality, budget-friendly options. I think Zhiyun is one of those, along with Amaran and Nanlite's sort of like budget-friendly options that's really running the pack of providing great quality lights on a budget, but they're doing some very, very fascinating stuff at incredibly low price. I'll put a price in the video. Also, just be aware that I have an affiliate link that I will give you guys right here, and if you guys use the affiliate link, I also have a coupon from Zhiyun themselves that will give you a 10% discount on the Molus B200 right here, and you can get 10% off of your purchase. So definitely go ahead and check the link about that. So I wanted to talk more about experiences with Zhiyun Lights and sort of what I've loved them. So as y'all already know, I've been working with Zhiyun for a while on quite a few of their products. Really kicked off with the Molus X60. I still use that light to this day. Really love it just because of its just how tiny it is. But then what really made me fall in love with them was the City Pier C100, which I'm actually using one right now. Actually, my light kind of funny enough, the lighting scenario kind of got a little bit different, so let me go ahead and bump up the output. Right now the City Pier C100 is not even at like full power yet. It's like I think it's like only 9%, so I'm gonna boost this up to about 18% just to give a little bit more of a full look. I think that's pretty good, but that's one of the main things that of why I wanted to talk about these lights in general. What's amazing about these lights is just how portable. With the City Pier C100, that's the fact that it's just a self-battery 100-watt light that you can basically carry and travel with. I actually took it on a plane in the case it comes with, and it's great. Again, I've also done a review on the City Pier C100. Definitely check that one out as well. Again, any products, any Zhiyun lights you wanted to see, you can apply a 10% discount. I have the coupon right here, so definitely check it out. But the main thing for me is compact power. And to me, nothing describes this better than the Molus B200, which is this 200-watt bicolor light that you can essentially palm. It looks maybe a little bit because that's just the reflector dish. I think the reflector dish actually is actually bigger than the light itself. Yeah, the reflector dish is actually bigger than the actual light itself, which is crazy. But it's this compactability, and really you just need a typical D plug that you can plug in to here, which it does come with, and that's really all you need. Now obviously some of the limitations you're going to be is like if you need to be a bit more like where you need to be more on the go, you can't use V-mount batteries with these, and some people will look at it as negatives, and I totally get that. But the counter to these is that you can get, say, a generator, something like the DJI Power Station 1000, which I actually have myself, and you can basically plug like 5 of these, or like one of these and a Molus 500. You could actually, no, you could plug like 2 of these, a 100 and a Molus 500 all into that same port, and you can basically run all of that for like an hour. So, and that thing is pretty portable, and you could take it pretty much anywhere as well. Again, it's a little power generator that you could just take and be off the grid, and you can use it for other things, and it works well with lights like this. It's just the sheer size. Like, look at this. This is insanity. This light right here is actually for like the past, I don't even know how many videos, at the very least since the start of this year, ever since the start of this year, I have been using essentially this light as my key light, along with the 95mm softbox from Zhiyun as well. And it's so easy because it's lightweight, it's packed up. And I love this about this light because it allows me to do shoots where things we're trying to figure out how to light it has became sometimes problematic. Case in point, recently I have 2 projects. One was a 1-day shoot, but there's an ongoing project that I am currently working on. It's a documentary that I'm currently in the works on. And without going too much into it, the documentary, we're covering radio. But more importantly, we're talking about, we're telling the story of one of the 4 only Black-owned radio stations in the entire country, and sort of how they serve the public interest. And that's sort of the gist behind it. There was a situation where we were interviewing one of the hosts in the radio room. Now, I don't know if you guys ever been in a radio room. Like, most people think radio rooms was like the size of like the Breakfast Clubs. A lot of the radio rooms are actually quite small. And the place where we were interviewing was very, very small. Like, I will tell you right now, it couldn't have been no more bigger than where the camera is to where this couch is, like right behind this little top over here. That's how big the space was. So there wasn't a lot of wiggle room to put a whole like creative lighting setup. But with the Molus B200, I was able to put this along with the softbox, and I was able to put it in the corner, and it was just out of frame enough, and it was just wide enough and just out of frame enough that I could still use something like the Sigma 25 millimeter focal lens on my Sony FX3, and we were able to get the interview. Going, and then I was able to even put the Molus X60 to throw some backlight, to throw some backlight into the background, but those 2 tiny compact lights literally saved me, because outside of that, there really wasn't a lot of space. Like, if I had a bigger, like even with the 500, the Molus B500, it was going to be too big to fit in the space that it was. If I had to use a bigger light like one of the Forza 720B, yeah, it would have been big enough to cover space, but it was way given the type of stand you would need to cover the weight, and then also for the clamp for the power thing, it would just take it up way too much space. But because I didn't have to worry about a power brick with this light, I just needed to run a cable. I was able to fit this into this little tiny space and able to get this really cool, unique, interesting shot for our documentary, which I'm really super excited to excited to show you guys once we get through it. We're still in production, but this light literally basically saved me. And by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Zhiyun for helping us with this project. I actually reached out to them for originally the Molus G200 or G300, but they didn't have any left. But they offered the Molus B200 for me in exchange for some BTS. So I just really do appreciate Zhiyun, and that's another thing I want to mention of why I'm switching to Zhiyun. And this part is a very personal and very individualistic. But I think that does go to say for a company that is willing to help out with someone with a project and being able to help them out, and says that, you know, they want to make sure that they can give creators the ability to be able to get control over their shootings and get control over their productions. And that's what their lights do. Are they for every single form of production? No. Like I've mentioned this with my other videos. If you are someone who's really trying to be more of a professional gaffer, obviously I think something like Aputure or Nanlite will probably be, or even Airy will be better like products for you, for your equipment that you may want to rent out. But if you're someone that's just a one-man band, or you're working with a really small crew of like maybe 2 to 4 people, these things are like perfect. And actually another good example of this is I was doing a Valentine's Day couples talking head I was hired to do with one of my good buddies, and we basically used all Zhiyun lights. So I used this light as a fill light. I used this light more so as a fill light, but it was or a secondary key. And we used the Molus B200 as the main key with the softbox, and then we used this with another softbox to help wrap it around and give more filling out of our subjects. And they worked, and we didn't even use like them at full power. I think this was like 30-40%. So just the sheer amount of power that you could put on a 200-watt light is already just insane. And then we used the Molus 60 as a hair kicker, and then I used something like the City Pier C100 as a means to just throw some light into the background. And again, I think that's just speaks to so much of what Zhiyun is offering, especially at such affordable prices, of what a lighting package that you can put together, that you can go in and be very creative with. And this light right here just is so versatile. Again, it's small enough that if you're in a very, very tight interview, you can still fit it in with a softbox and pretty much get your shots in. You got stuff like the City Pier C100s that are portable bar lights that are 100 watts that you can take, and they still, like right now the 100 watt I'm using it as a key right now, and it's not even at like 20%, and I'm able to like use this to give myself some light. And then you got other parts like the Molus X60, where you could use it as sort of like hair lights and things like that. They're just throwing so many different options, and I'm really, really excited. And that's really why I switched it, because the amount of money that it would have cost to get all of these different lights would be almost about the same price as getting something like a Nanlite Forza 720B. Like, when you think about it, like the amount of lights that I have and the versatility that I have, and it allows me to be on my feet, it's just about as much money as a Forza 720B. But now, having said all that, I just gotta, we gotta keep things fair, we gotta keep things consistent, and also keep things honest. The 720B is designed to deal with a very different need. It has other things. It's weatherproof. Like, most of this stuff is not weatherproof. I would not put this stuff out in the rain. If I have to put it in harsh conditions, I'm not necessarily sure I would be able to do that. The 720B and a lot of the Aputure Light Storm or Storm series, they're designed to have wireless DMX. So if you need to go to a DMX panel and work things from a light for like very, very high-end event productions and things like that, those are going to be. And if you need to really be mobile, while there is lights like the City Pier C100 and the Molus X60 that give you that portability, the Forza and the Aputure lights, they got capabilities of putting V-mount batteries, or even some of them gold mount batteries, where you can have the high power capacities lights and be completely off the grid if you need to be. Now again, there is solutions like power generators for like the 200 and the 500, but there is a bit of a convenience for those situations as well. But again, every situation is different. For me personally, if I am doing event shooting, or if I'm doing things where I'm being by myself, or maybe I'm doing a lot of talk ahead interviews, to me, this is some of the best lighting gear that you can get, and they're at well worthy asking prices. And I cannot be happier with these products. But anyways, this is my video of the Zhiyun series. I would love to know what you guys think. Would you be interested in these Zhiyun lights? I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know, leave your comments down below. And as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.